Okay, moving on with the build. Everything had a really good chance to dry, and I think what we're ready to do is we're going to be doing the anchors, but I want to address something before we do that. Now that it's nice and dry, I want to bring the sides of the bow down a little bit more because we want to be able to see the first level of the boathouse. So I think I just want to kind of shave it down gradually until I get the desired height. So I don't want to go crazy. I just want to bring it down a bit so you can see the first level of the wheelhouse. So let's just do this side real quick. There. That's better. Kind of get the effect that I want. So let's bring it down on the other side just a bit. Oh, that's better. That's what I want. Okay. Here we are. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So we're going to see the first level of the boathouse. Oh, excuse me, the wheelhouse. All right, so that's good. So that's all set. So I was just looking on eBay and I found there was a model. It was like an Italian battleship, and what caught my attention was the scale. It was in 1/400 scale. Now it was just like the random parts. It wasn't the hull. And I'm looking at the pictures and I saw something that really made me take notice. I saw the anchors, because this is in 1/400 scale. I was going to use Titanic's anchors, but the one I have was in 1/700 scale, and then the other one was in 1/500 scale. So it was off. It just didn't look right. Plus, you know, Titanic's anchors are larger than the Fitzgerald's. With this, I had seen the anchors in 1/400 scale, and they're going to be perfect. Look at how perfect they're going to fit. When it comes to the anchors on the Fitzgerald, they weren't just hanging off the side. There's a rectangle area, almost like a box, and there's a little slope where they slide down and they drop. And when they go back up, they retract. So it's like a rectangular area on either side at the bow, and there's one at the stern. The problem with this one, with this model, was there was only 2 anchors. So what I'm thinking is I had seen these parts, and I'm really not sure what they're for. But these are going to make a perfect anchor for the aft end. Because what I'll do is I'll make a little, the rectangle, and we're going to put that in that little rectangle area. And I think it'll pass pretty well as an anchor. Because we can even put it this way. Yeah, I think it looked better the other way. So we're gonna do it like that, and I think that's gonna pass as the aft anchor. And as an added bonus, guys, because I was going to do the lifeboats, we were going to make them from scratch, from wood. And a good gauge to go by, according to the blueprints, is that the smokestack is around the same size as the lifeboats. So I was going to make a lifeboat, and when it comes to using the scroll saw, we got some pretty small, really tiny little things. And I'm like, the lifeboat is going to be really, really tricky. And this was an added bonus. So they have the, like the yachts almost, and they have some of the lifeboats. Now these lifeboats would have been too big. They might have worked, but they would have been out of scale. Now look at how perfect these are. These are just about the size of the smokestack, and they're going to go right, one on port and one in starboard. So that's going to be perfect for this. And it just keeps getting better, because where's the other little bonus that I want to show you guys? In addition to the lifeboats, I just see it, here it is. So when it comes to the Edmund Fitzgerald, she had 2 lifeboats, one on port and one on starboard at the aft end of the ship on the deck. They didn't have a lifeboat at the wheelhouse, but they did have an emergency raft right behind the wheelhouse. And being that this was a battleship, lo and behold, we have the raft. So this is going to go absolutely perfect behind the wheelhouse at the bow of the ship. It's just, everything is falling into place with the right scale. And even though it's a oh, and by the way, because she's not long enough, if I would have been able to, the propeller would have been perfect for the ship as well. Anyway, but I'm not going to dwell on that. But there are a couple of other things. When we put the railings up, there were lights going down the span of the ship, and I was thinking, I had seen these, and I think these might be davits, but these might be perfect to use, just to show that there were lights there. I'm not talking about going all the way down. I'm just going to be doing what I see in the videos on the ship. They were sparsely, they weren't on every hatch, but we got a lot of little goodies from this model. So I don't recall the ship that this came from, but I thank her very much. She's going to help our Edmund Fitzgerald really detail up. So when we move on, I also have the photo etch for the doors, the hatches, and even the light preservers that are on either side of the of this wall. So it's going to be fun. So this is all set. We're going to do the anchors, then we're going to do the coal bunker, and she's going to be pretty much ready to prime. I'm wondering if we're going to do the put on the details first and then lightly prime it. I have a few ideas with the primer, and we'll get to that later. But we're going to do the ship. We're going to do the anchors. So what I want to do is I want to take one of these little anchors, the ones that we're going to use for the aft end of the ship. This is the front ones. And let's see, we've got 4 of these, and I wonder what these are for. So I really have no idea. So let's get, I'm going to take one off and put it right there. Now, all the anchors on the Edmund Fitzgerald could very well be the same. I don't know, because you can see the ones coming out of the bow a lot better than you can see the one coming out of the stern. So I have no idea, but I don't have another 1/400 scale anchor. So we're going to use this in place of the anchor. So what we're going to do, see how I want it to, we're going to put it in the back, and we're going to make it look like the points on the anchor. So the first thing we got to do is I got to measure this because it's not very big, and the little opening is going to go right just about below the name of the ship. So it's going to be right about here. So actually it might be easier to just measure that. And it's so tiny. This is 1/8 of an inch. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the center. Alright, so we mark the halfway point. What I want to do is I want to make a center line down on the aft end. May not be easy with the... Alright, we're going to have to do it this way. Alright. Alright, so we got the center line. So it's going to go right about here. And it's going to be 1/8 of an inch. The anchor is going to be 1/8 of an inch. We're going to make the area, let's see, let's just make an outline right here. Alright, where are my tweezers? Awful small. Alright. That'll work. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to cut now just a little bit of that area. I just had that little toy saw. Here it is. Alright, so we're going to gently start to cut. And we don't have to go deep because we're just gonna cut it. The anchor, that is. So let's try to... What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gradually drag the saw across. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna make a little seam. Let's do the same thing for the bottom. And when it comes to the ends, I think we're going to do the knife. There. Alright, so what I want to do now is we're going to get a knife where we're going to actually be able to use it like a chisel. So let me... So we got to be careful with this. I need the, we're going to use the light. Alright. And if everything goes to plan, this should be relatively simple. And what I want to do is there's just an ever slight slope. See how we're sloping it? Let's see, hopefully you can see that. Because there's a little slope where the anchor slides out and then gets drawn back in. So, let's see. Let's see how this is going to fit. We might have to cut this one. What if we go a little bit deeper? Let's see if we can ever so gingerly cut this just a bit to get it to fit inside more. I mean, worst case scenario, we'll just use another one because there are a couple of them. Here are my little snips. So we're going to cut these just a bit. Just like that. And we're going to put this back in. See how small it is? I'm wondering if we could put two of them in. Let's try to, maybe we can try to make it a little bit larger. And box it square. There. And I'm thinking maybe we can put two of them in because they're small. Where's the sandpaper? I want to just clean this up just a bit. Here we are. All right, so let's get another one of those. We'll do the same thing, we'll cut it. What do you think? That might work. Just to show that there's something in there. So what I think I want to do is I think we're going to use the super glue because the super glue is a little more liquid. So let's put the super glue in there. And a little bit ran out onto the... A little bit ran out, but see, that's what I wanted. I want you guys to know that there's an anchor there. And we actually used two of the, whatever parts those are. I have no idea. Maybe they're a winch or something, but you needed to put it, and it looks off. It looks like it's not centered, but it actually is centered. I don't know why the camera is, maybe because it's not perfectly shaped, but it is centered. All right, so now what we can do is we're going to do the same thing for the bows. The anchors that are going to go on a bow. We want to get it same area, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right about here. So let's draw out a little rectangle. All right, so the way this, I messed up drawing it, but we're going to follow the outline. So I think what I want to do, first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually cut the outline on the edge. And let's use the chisel and just kind of go up, pry it. And we'll clean that up. And if you guys are wondering, the anchors are actually red, just like the bow and the body of the ship. So ideally, I want to make the hole where we can just put the whole thing in, make it look a little better. But I want to make sure that we don't have to make it wider. So that looks good. So let me see that? And the anchor So if we take off the little round part, because that's not going to show where the chain's attached to it, and it's going to go, yeah, see, that just looks just about perfect. So what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of the super glue because it's liquid. Hopefully I don't spill any on the front. There we are. So let's give that a second. That looks good. That's exactly what I had wanted. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. But we're going to give this a second to let it dry. So let me get the other one. See how we're going to make a little slope? There. Hopefully you guys can see the anchors. Alright, I'm going to let that dry. See how the one in the back is doing. It's doing pretty good. Okay, I think when that's dry I want to put in a little bit of the Instacure just in case. Okay, so what we want to do now is I want to think about doing the coal bulkhead. Let's see, where would that be? Okay, that's over here. So let's measure that out. It'd be good if it was the same size as the hatch, 1.5 inches. So here's some of the extra hatches that we did, and lo and behold, it's exactly the same fit, so that's a good thing. And this is going to go right in the center, in the front. About there. So right about there, and I want to hold it down because the curvature in the deck to allow for the water to run off. Because like I said, there's a curvature in the deck, so we want to make sure that that does not go anywhere. Alright, okay, it's been a couple of minutes, so let's unclamp it, and if everything went well, it'll have the curvature of the deck, and it does. Alright. So that's the thing with the Instacure. Man, if you make a mistake, that's a little bit better. Okay, that's good. So what we did in this video, we put the coal bunker on, and that's all the way in front of the aft boathouse. We put the aft anchor in place, and we used a couple of the pieces from the 1-400 battleship. And lastly, well, actually, what we also did was took down the walls of the bow, the stern. We brought it down because you're able to actually see the ship's, the first level of the wheelhouse. So it was important to get this area down. And what we'll do is we'll sand it down before we put railings up. But I like it better this way because it's a little bit lower, and we still, I'm going to round out the edge over here because there's a little notch before it goes down to midship. And then lastly, we put the anchors in, and don't mind that, that's just a little bit of the super glue that spilled out. We'll sand that off, and when it's good and dry, just to make sure, I'm going to put the Instacure in because I don't want these to go anywhere. So we got the anchors. Really, the ship itself is done. It's made. Everything that I had wanted to do. The only thing we got to do is when we prime, there's a couple of areas where I want to put a little bit more putty, and I'll sand it. We'll sand it down so it's buttery smooth, and then we'll prime it. But before that, there are some little things that we need to put on now. We're going to start doing the little pieces that I want to put on, whether it's the winches, there are bollards that go with the front, the emergency raft. Think about doing the davits for the lifeboats and the aft end, and the railing that's going to go around. And in my next video, I'm going to show you guys all the goodies we got to put on here, including the doors, the windows, including a couple of the life preservers that are going to go on either side of this. And of course, the name Edmund Fitzgerald is there. And we're going to be doing our own decals too, because I could freehand paint it. I don't want to go through all this trouble and have like a crappy looking written letters down. So my friends, in the next video, we're going to go a little step further. We're going to start to detail the ship before we prime it. So my friends, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the kind words, and I'll talk to you guys soon.